Hi, lovely to have you here. Welcome to the Electro Revolution channel. My name is Michael and I'm a car and tech enthusiast. What if I told you that the best-selling car for the first half of this year wasn't a Tesla and it wasn't a BYD in China? What it actually was the Geely EX2. I don't speak Mandarin, so I hope I pronounced that correctly. Or in international markets, what it's actually called is the Geely EX2. And this is what we're going to cover in this particular episode, the story of the Geely EX2 and how it's going to be very competitive in international markets and really going to challenge the current players in the budget car industry. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Now let's talk about the sales success in China. Now this particular vehicle, I'll pronounce it properly as the international market of the Geely EX2. It sells at an equivalent of 15,000 Australian dollars. Now let me repeat that, 15,000 Australian dollars. Now, of course, there's going to be a little bit extra charge for the shipping costs and the insurance costs to bring these Chinese vehicles into the country. But because we don't have any tariffs in Australia, it's going to be a marginal price increase. Now, what were the sales figures? Now, the sales figures I'll be presenting to you here, it includes sales figures of all EVs, hybrids and ICE vehicles sold in China for the first half of 2025. So it was the number one selling car, irrespective of whether it's an EV or not. It sold 205,000 approximately vehicles within the first half of 2025. Now, when you compare that with the next biggest selling car, the BYD Seagull, that sold approximately 175,000 in the same half year. And third came the Tesla Model Y at 171,500 vehicles. And it shows you just how far ahead this particular model of car is in the sales in China. What interests me most about this particular vehicle is its Australian plans. Now, Geely Auto Australia, they've already released the EX5 electric SUV and the Starray plug-in hybrid. Now, what we know about the EX2 is it's locked in for a delivery date of 2026 in Australia. And that's directly competing against the BYD Seagull, which is due here by the end of 2025, and it'll have a price of about $25,000. Now, what we historically know about Geely is it undercuts every single BYD model. And that means that when the EX2 comes in, it could have a price under 25,000 Australian dollars. Now, that's where things get interesting. So let's discuss that now. Let's now talk about its size and practicality. Now, on paper, the EX2 is a compact but practical 4,135 millimeters long, 1,305 millimeters wide, 1,570 millimeters tall with a 2650 millimeter wheelbase. And that means it's got pretty much a good amount of room on the inside of the vehicle. And it packs a 375 litre boot, which is expandable to 1,320 litres with the back seats down. Plus, it's got a 70 litre frunk, which means for a mini EV, that's seriously usable space. So let's now talk about power and range. It's a rear-wheel drive and it has a choice of two motors, a 58 kilowatt motor and an 85 kilowatt motor. And of course, for the 58 kilowatt motor, you can get it in a 30 kilowatt battery, and for the 85 kilowatt motor, you can get it in a 40 kilowatt battery. And of course, with a 30 kilowatt battery, you have a 310 kilometer range, and for the 40 kilowatt battery, a 410 kilometer range. And that's on the CLTC cycle, which is the Chinese test cycle. And when you're looking at WLTP distance, you're typically taking 10 to 20% off that figure for a WLTP range. And that's because of the testing cycles that are tested on these particular vehicles. So it's still pretty good for suburban and city driving. Not really, of course, for long distance driving, but many of the people that don't drive long distances, this will be an ideal vehicle for them. Let's now talk about its tech and safety. Now, you know, with Chinese vehicles, they're always packed with tech, especially in the EV range. And what we know about the EX2 is it definitely punches above its price point. What we get is dual digital screens, an embedded navigation system, heated seats, rear AC vents which are adjustable, and even a 50-watt wireless charging system. Now for the safety features, which is the ADAS system that's built into this car. You get 6 airbags, you get adaptive cruise control, you get lane departure warning, and autonomous emergency braking. And you know, these are standard within these types of cars these days for the safety of the passengers and of the driver. Now you may be wondering, okay, what sort of warranty am I going to get with this vehicle? Well, at the moment that isn't published, but what we can see on the Geely website is typically what they give on the current vehicles that they have on offer in Australia, and that's a 7-year unlimited kilometer warranty for private use and an 8-year battery warranty, again for private use. And of course, all replacement parts are Geely authorized and approved. So of course, there's for commercial vehicles, there's a limit to 170,000 kilometers, but you know, I'm talking mostly about private owners. So that is a general overview. It's not guaranteed, of course, until the vehicle comes in, but that's the general overview of what Geely currently do for their current vehicles. So what does this mean for Australia? Well, when you consider that the cheapest EV vehicle currently to date is the BYD Dolphin, the full battery EV selling at $29,990, that's still around the 30k mark. It's still, you know, it's well priced, but still it's a bit up there. Now, when you consider that when the Seagull comes in by the end of the year, as I mentioned before, $25,000 sticker price, what we're looking at there is going to be the cheapest full battery EV in Australia. Yet it's soon going to be followed by the Geely EX2, and that will likely undercut the BYD Seagull. And that's something I'm really going to look forward to. So let me know what you think. Remember, the Geely EX2 has proven itself in China with 205,000 sales, which is an incredible amount of sales in the first half of the year. That's 6 months of the year of 2025. Now, if it's been able to prove itself there, how competitive will it be when it hits international markets, and especially our Australian market? It's something I'm really looking forward to. Why? If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know I own 2 EVs and 1 ICE vehicle. Now, I have been looking at selling the ICE vehicle of late and replacing it with an EV, but there's nothing really for me compelling enough to make that move. Now, this vehicle could be possibly something that'll make me sell the ICE vehicle and replace it with an EV vehicle. Of course, I'm a person that needs to test drive. I will never buy a car just like that without test driving anything. So I will have to sit in the vehicle, I will have to drive the vehicle, see how it feels and see if it suits me. And if it does, yes, I'll then seriously consider making the purchase and selling the ICE vehicle and having 3 EVs. So that's something I'll look forward to one day if it happens. But let me know your thoughts. Would this be something you'd be interested in, remembering all the things that we went through? Would you be buying something like this? Would you be replacing a car or adding a car to your repertoire? So let me know. If you really did like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share this content with someone who'd be interested, or just leave a comment. It really all helps. Until I see you the next time with the next video or the next episode. Hope to see you there. Bye for now.